Hello, loved ones. Aw. Oh, y'all. I never say y'all. I don't even know why I just said y'all. I'm in Texas now. I'm Texan now. Um, so I've just been like quite a brute beast towards God, and that's just like a biblical idiom I got because I really love it. A brute beast towards God. So I woke up this morning in much discomfort, and I was rather insolent and frustrated with God over water. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny how, we approach God, and if he doesn't give us something that we ask for in the way that we desire and in the way that we want and how we want it, then we're just like, God, because it's just like, I need you, God, to conform to my way of doing things. God, I need you to get on my level, God. Isn't that the most craziest thing? Oh, it's so insane. Like, it's so insane. Um, so today has been that day, and my love I found today was rather conditional towards God. I have this desire, and he didn't like meet it in the way I wanted him to meet it. And I was just like really frustrated. And I was just like, this is just so ridiculous. Why you can't just, you're God. Like, why can't you just do things the way that I picture you doing them, God? Like, is this too much to ask? It's not, because you're God. You're like, omnipotent, omniscient, and all present. You can't just do this one little itty bitty 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 thing for me the way I want it to happen. Anyway, so in the midst of all this, I opened my devotional, C.H. Spurgeon, daily, what is it, morning and evening. Oh, y'all, C.H. Spurgeon, morning and evening daily devotional. I believe that's what the title is, but it's insane because I've been reading this for months and I can't even remember the title. I know it's morning and evening. C.H. Spurgeon, love him. Moving on. So I open it, and of course, in true God fashion, it was Psalm 73, and I'm reading this, and I have my biblical hair. I'm reading Psalm 73, and the Psalter is talking about how he's talking about the wealthy, and like how they're like so wicked, and they're free from common human burdens. They're not plagued by like human ills. Their hearts are callous, and they talk about like how would God know, like, well, who is God, like basically like questioning God in their wickedness, in their wealth, and in their pride, and in their arrogance. And he's like, here I am, like if I had spoken like that, like I'd be like banished and despised. And that's just like how I'm interpreting it. Like it says, if I had spoken out like that, I would have betrayed your children. When I and sorry, I'm trying to read this, but blah blah. So he's basically like just crying out to God, like, why is it like this? This is so unfair. Like, why isn't the world the way I want it to be? Like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this fair? Like, this is so unequal, God. Like, why does it work like this? Like, this is so not how it's supposed to work. Like, this is so not the way I think that it should work. And just questioning God. And then I love that the Psalter entered the sanctuary of God, and then he finally understood like why it is the way it is. Like, God is all wise, y'all. I know in our extremely limited, futile, myopic view as being human, God is so wise. And I love how the Psalter said, and I have to read this. I love what he said. He's like, when my heart was grieved and my spirit embittered, basically he was like, I realized when I went before God that I'm so bitter inside, and I'm so torn inside, and I just have I'm just thinking like in my own way. I was a brute beast before you. Like, I was such a brute beast before you, and I myself was a brute beast before God this morning. But he said, yet I am always with you. You hold my right hand. You guide me with your counsel, and afterward you will take me into glory. whom have I in heaven but you? And earth has nothing I desire besides you. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Those who are far from you will perish. You destroy all who are unfaithful to you. But as for me, it is good to be near God. I have made the sovereign Lord my refuge. I will tell of all your good deeds. And I'm like reading this and I'm just like, oh God, you are just so, like, it convicted me because of how I, like, how I am. Like, this is like real Christianity. Like, not every day is like amazing, and I'm not always like walking in the will of God. I'm not always like, you know, hey God, I'm not always aligned with the thoughts of God. I'm not always aligned with like, I'm not always in obedience to God. Like, I'm not always like, oh God, you're so amazing, I love you. I am very, he knows I'm dust. Thank God. He knows I'm dust. But like, after reading that was so good that it's just like, you know what, even though like my heart may be bitter towards you, even though I might be acting like a brute beast towards you, you are still faithful, God, and you still love me, and you still hold me with your right hand, and you still are saying, hey, you know what, just come before me and let's talk this out. You know what, make your case. And which is what I did that earlier. It's just some things happened subsequently again after that, and I was just like, God, like some things that were like disheartening, and I was just like back in that like, God, what? And God is still here. Like, he's still faithful and he's so amazing. Like, I just prayed a few moments ago to God and I was just like, what is this? And he's just so comforting. He always just like meets me. He's just so amazing. But like, even like when I was like reading this, I thought of Jonah. When I was reading this earlier, I thought of Jonah and how, you know, Nineveh, who was like, they were very real enemies towards the Israelites, and how God's like, I need you to go to Nineveh and let them know that I'm going to destroy them if they don't get their act together. And Jonah's like, Nineveh, like our enemy Nineveh? And he completely refused. Like, y'all know, like he went into, oh yeah, there goes that y'all word again. He got, you know, the whale thing happened, and, you know, he eventually goes to Nineveh, and God was, and he does what God, he obeys God, and he does what God says. And subsequently, or summarily, he was like, God decides to spare them because Nineveh listened. They fasted, they prayed, they even fasted their animals, and God was like, yes, awesome, you guys are repentant, cool, I'm not going to bring destruction on you. And then Jonah's like, are you serious, God? Like what? And then Jonah was just like, I knew you would do this because you're so compassionate and you're so slow to anger and you're so merciful. I knew you would do this, God. This is why I didn't want to come out here, because you're merciful. And he's like, I want to just die now. Like, now I want to die. And then God, of course, responds in only the way God can, which is right here, which is like, you guide me in counsel. Like, you hold me my right hand. You like take me from glory to glory. You're just so amazing. And God, like, you know, has this plant over, like puts this plant over him. He like, you know, after he does this, he like goes and sits down just to see, because he thinks like my being frustrated with God, you know, is gonna like probably change the events, and maybe God will come to his senses and be like, you know what, you're right, I should like destroy like Nineveh. But of course he doesn't do that. But like, God makes this plant go over Jonah, grow over Jonah, and then Jonah's like, oh, he's like loving this plant, he's loving this shade. And then the next morning, like God has like a bug come and like eat the plant, and then Jonah's like not happy about this, and he's just like, I should just die. And he's like, and then God's like, mate, this plant just like, you know, just grew up like the day before and is like dead today, and you're like grieving over this plant, yet you're gonna allow like 100 and something thousand people to die. Like, does that make sense to you? Like, why should you be angry about this? And like, I mean, hopefully that made sense the way I said it, but like it does in my head. But like, God is so, like, God met Jonah, like instead of like meeting Jonah like anger to anger, he just used his compassion and used like a plant to put things into perspective as to how he does his dealings. Like, he's all wise and he's all knowing, and he knows like what he's doing. Like, we don't know, we don't understand in our little minds like what God is doing and what God is up to. Like, who can I, like, it's my favorite, like, I say this is my favorite verse and I can never remember like the chapter, but it's like, I want to say Job 38. Sorry, I can't like turn. Yes, I can. Yay, I'm there. It's Job 38. Yes. It's Job 38, verse 2. Who is this that obscures my plans with words without knowledge? Like, yes, like when we're questioning God and we're just like, God, why isn't things the way I want it to be? Like, why? We don't know what we're talking about. We don't know what's going on. And so blah, blah, blah. My point is, we can be quite foolish, and we can be quite brute beast towards God. And I don't want to say that that's okay, but it's definitely normal. Like, it's definitely real Christianity, and it's definitely like part of our walk with God. And all we have to do is go before God, and and talk to him about it, and he will come towards you, just like the Psalter did in Psalms 73, just like that's like Jonah did in Jonah 3 and 4. He went before God and just aired out his grievances, and God will meet you every time. Like, every time you're frustrated, every time you're like, God, why aren't things working the way I want to work, like the way I want it to work? Like, God, like, what is going on? Go to God. Don't go to Facebook. Don't go to YouTube. Don't go to don't go to your friends who are probably like not really gung-ho about God. They'll be like, see, I told you should be an atheist. Okay, darling, I apostated last week. Join us. Go to God. He will meet you every single time, and he will talk to you every single time, and he'll comfort you every single time. And even if an hour later or 2 hours later, you're still like, something happens, you're just like, oh, God is still not working. Go to God again. Like, that's why God loves it when you come to him. He loves it when you get on your knees and pray to him. He will totally answer. He's so patient. He is so patient. He's so long-suffering. He's so kind. And, Jesus, I love you so much. Like, I just love him so much. And like, every time, even just like talking about him, I'm just like, Lord God. Okay. Anyway, blah. Just wanted to come and say that. Sorry, my hair's all over the place. It's just doing its own thing today. But blah, blah. Who cares about that? That's like not even the point of this video. Oh my gosh, it's like 12 minutes. Okay. Loved ones, I love you so much. Yeah. Go to God. Always go to God. Always go to God. He will meet you every time. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. Okay. I love you. Mwah! Love you. Love you.